guys, it's Lori from Laura's World. Welcome back to the channel. I am so glad you're here. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. I've been sober since February 16th, 2010. I started this channel fall of last year to just keep connected. And I swear that it has just relit a fire under my butt for sobriety. I've been enjoying this so much. I started out interviewing people that I knew personally, and it has branched out into people that I have never met and I'm getting to know, and it has just been incredible. So if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. We are going to be talking to somebody that I do know. And I have known. I actually have never heard his story, but I just admire his sobriety. Every day when I open up Facebook and I see a post from my friend Ray, it always says blessed and grateful. My God, I just love it. And I really adore him. And he's asking me for a link. Hold on. I'm going to stop this because he's going to have to download the app. I'll be back.
Imagine that.
We fucking did it. Oh my God. That's perseverance. 48 minutes to get on a Zoom meeting. Oh my God. I don't feel old.
Hey, Laura, it was easier to get sober than to do that.
I am so happy you're here. Oh my God. So great to see you.
Oh, same here. Good to see you, bud.
Yeah. Oh,
how you doing? You good?
I'm good. I'm good now. I was determined to get this friggin' thing on. I was telling you, honestly, I had I fell back to sleep this morning. I woke up at 5 and I'm like, I gotta go back to sleep just for a little longer. I didn't have to work today. And I had a dream that we could not connect. I shit you not. And then it was like, you said to me, you know what, I'm all set. And no, I don't want to do this again. So that's why I'm like,
you know what's so funny is I'm off Wednesdays, every Wednesday, right? And
Okay.
I go to a noon meeting.
Okay.
And I was sitting in the meeting and my mind started wandering. I started thinking, I should probably go home and try to connect this thing because I'd never done this before. So maybe I should call her and tell her, hey, you want to try like a quick one early, And then I said, and then the meeting was like on your spiritual experience. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to let God handle that. Well, he did. It only took him 50 minutes, but we got it.
It's all right. We're here.
We got time.
Thank you so much for doing this. You have no idea how much
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate this. Honestly, it's so crazy because I met you like 11 years ago. I had just gotten sober and everybody told me I had to do other things other than going to one meeting a week. It was highly suggested to go to a few more than that, but I needed to surround myself with sober people doing fun things. And there was this sober bowling league. And I'm like, okay, it's around the corner from me. I like bowling, but I've never bowled sober. And so I walk in, I don't know anybody. So, I'm like, oh God. And, to the right was the guys having, drinks and partying hard, 2 lanes, and then the sober people. And I'm like, oh God, I'm standing in the 2 lane, between the 2 lanes, looking over going, oh God.
Yeah, which side do I belong on?
What side do I belong on? And it was, you and Roy and Matt, you're like, this is the fun side. Trust us when we tell you, Yeah. And it took me a while. I was kind of quiet. But it was my first introduction into doing sober, fun things, even though maybe I was kind of, kind of like with a face on, like, I don't know if this is for me, but I kept coming because I knew that there was a better way, a better way. And, I don't get to see you every day. I know you moved down to Florida now, but your roots are
Ooh,
here in
Vero Beach.
Connecticut. Yeah, good
Yeah.
for you. But
Laura,
I was just,
that's a huge experience though that you're talking about because, I identified, happy and fun things in life with the other side, where the
yeah,
guys and the girls were having the big old party.
yeah,
But for me anyways, I clearly and concisely crossed that line. I couldn't be on that side no more
yeah,
because
yeah,
I wasn't enjoying any of it, right?
yeah. And it's so funny because we fool ourselves into saying that we had a good time, because at one point, for me anyway, I did have a good time with it.
Yeah.
I could have a couple of drinks and be okay with it. And once I crossed that line, I couldn't come back from it, and it was pissing me off. So
Yeah.
I truly thought AA was going to help me to drink responsibly.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. But I shit you not, I really did. Because when
Yeah.
I saw you guys bowling, and when I would go to these sober picnics, and people would say, you have to mingle with people, because I was just kind of sitting back and watching. Why were you all so happy?
Crazy.
And I'm like, there's got to be something. And I was on the watch for the person who was going to show me that there was this magic pill or this magic drink. And that's why you guys were all laughing and having a good
Yeah.
time. And lo and behold, so I would love to hear your story, because I've never heard it before, believe it or not. I've known you for 11
Really?
years. I've known you for
No,
11 years. What I see every day on Facebook, blessed and grateful,
that's it.
I love that.
My story's really a run of the mill, not unique whatsoever. Early on in life, way before I ever had a drink or any dry goods in me, I had all of the behaviors. I was one of those kids who, in Naugatuck anyways, our report cards had two sides to them. And the front side was your academics and the back side was your behavior. Well, I was a pretty smart kid academically, and I would get A's and B's, and I'd typically make the honor roll. But if you looked on the back, you were astounded to what's going on. There's something not right with this kid. I was angry. I would be excessively loud. I would misbehave. It was just those behaviors that are so typical in most of my friends in the program. I was pretty good at sports, and I was at an all-star game one time down in Stratford, and I threw two pitches in the ball game, and the umpire said ball two, and I yelled a couple of expletives and was thrown out of a game at 12 years old. 12 years old, So those behaviors were there. I didn't start drinking till late in life, late. And when I was drinking, I'm like always the type of guy that went to bed at 8 o'clock. So I never was a partier. My ex-wife introduced me to cocaine in about 1988, and it was love at first sight. Because typically I would have 2 or 3 beers with the guys. I would play golf. I would have a couple beers and go home. Well, the dry goods changed the program for me, because now I was allowed to stay awake with help. And it was the normal progression, Lord. I went from $20 a week to $40 a week to $2,000 a week in a couple of years. And just like most with alcohol and dry goods, I just couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop. It was rough. It was harsh. I had some pretty darn good success in my career. I was, at the time of my real downfall, I was a vice president of customer service for a Fortune 500 company. So I thought I was on the top of the world, but I was I was about ready to tumble and tumble hard. So it was pretty quick for me. In 2006, I got laid off from my job and found out that my wife had cheated on me in a matter of 10 days.
Okay.
So basically what happened to me is that, I was pretty well off financially, so I didn't think it was a big deal. But what I didn't know how to do is deal with anything, so I didn't know how to cope, so my coping mechanism was alcohol and drugs. A number of people, including my family and parents and children, would tell me along the lines, hey, hey, dad, hey, son, hey, friend, maybe you should get some help. And, me being the tough guy I am, I could handle this, So basically, I just drank and used myself right into the corner, and I got lucky though. I got really lucky, and I got very blessed. I had one of those spiritual awakenings. I really did. It was crazy. It was 2009 in June, and I was now very successful living with my mom, and I came walking through her kitchen one day, and Lord, I don't know what happened. It was the oddest feeling. I got this warm feeling over me, and I went down on my knees in her kitchen, and I said, God, I need help. I need help. And it still gives me goosebumps to this day, because probably for the first time in my adult life anyways, it wasn't a foxhole prayer. It was a moment of clarity, of understanding that I couldn't do this no more. Not by surprise. A few hours later, I got a phone call, and it was from a young lady who I had spent some time with, using and drinking and stuff along those lines. And she had been sober for 1 year and was now living in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, and was flying up the next day and wanted me to go online and find her an AA meeting.
Wow.
And I said to her, an AA meeting? She's like, yeah, why don't you come with me? It blows your mind. It just blows your mind, because you hear these things, these stories. I'm like one of millions that this happens to. You hear this story all the time.
Yeah.
I, for the first time, basically said, hey, Lord, I need some help. So I didn't know if I wanted to go, because it was at my own church. It was the church I grew up in, the church I was baptized and confirmed in.
Everybody's going to know.
Everybody's going to know. They've known for 20 years.
Oh, I know.
Everybody's going to know. Though I went to that meeting, and I can honestly tell you, it wasn't to get sober. It wasn't to get sober, because I didn't even know what AA was. I didn't even know what sobriety was. I really wanted to just go hang out with a young lady, Well, I got to tell you, what an incredible day that was. That was June 29th of 2009, and it changed my life. It changed my life. I never, ever knew that there were men and women just like me. I thought I was the only guy sitting out in the bar parking lot at 2, 3, 4 in the morning all by himself. I thought I was the only guy, who was single-handedly ruining his own life, single-handedly. There was a sign on the meeting at St. Michael's Church that day. It was on the table, and it said, "You are not alone." I remember saying to myself that morning that, boy, these people have no idea how alone I really am. Yeah. And, as we hear all the time from friends of ours, we could feel alone in a crowd of 10,000 people. But at this point in life, in 2009, I certainly felt alone. You know, I ran into a guy there. His name's Norm. He kind of got me out in the hallway there in St. Michael's wing. And he said, listen, kid, come on back and see us tomorrow. Come on back.
Mm.
You know, I don't know what happened. I wish I could tell you I had some type of responsibility for ending up in that meeting. It was that one prayer. I went to that meeting every day for probably 8 or 9 years. The thing that I loved the most about my first meeting is they talked about God. You know, I come from a family where my mom and my dad, when we were kids, they taught us to be spiritual people. They taught us to be blessed. They taught us to be grateful for everything that the Lord has provided us, you know, and it was rough driving to my mom's after that first meeting, because I asked myself candidly, how could you have forgotten everything your parents taught you? You know, and I'm 41 years old now. You know, how can you have forgotten it all? And that's truly what happened, you know, because that God talk is what kept me. As you know, it's what drives many people away. But I was raised in a family of faith and spirituality. So it really felt like I was home at my first meeting, which was beautiful.
I always had a spiritual connection. I always felt that there was something bigger than me. But I found that, I would say, like, well, he's not going to love me because I've done this, 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 and this. I always had a vision of God as being a punishing God. So I turned my back. I turned my back on it because I didn't think that I could be forgiven for the things that I had done.
And to finally hear that he's just waiting for you.
Just waiting. Just waiting.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I drove home from my first meeting and I went into my mom's house and my mom was sitting there and I said, Mom, today's a good day. She said, Raymond, what happened? I said, Ma, I ran into a group of people just like me. She said, what do you mean? I said, Ma, I went to St. Michael's today. Now, Laura, I've been going to St. Michael's for 41 years. I didn't even know what AA was. Never mind, they met there every day of the week.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I said, Mom, I'm going to really, really give it my best to get sober. She said, Raymond, whatever I can do to help, you let me know. She said, but do me a favor. Do me a favor. Can you go upstairs on my dresser and get the little box? It's about this big and it says prayer box on it. Can you go get that for me? I said, sure, Mom. So I went upstairs. I brought down her prayer box. I handed it to her. She opened it up. She took out one piece of paper and she read it to me. And she said, please, Lord, help my son Raymond get sober.
Oh, I'm going to cry. Jesus. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Right?
I love that. I love that.
You know, so like the power of prayer is just so amazing.
Yes,
I said that one prayer on her kitchen floor on my knees. And she, who knows how long she's been praying for her sick son, you know, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, to put a real smile on her face again. My mom in 2015 got really ill. And
I know. I'm sorry.
she had cancer, and the thing is every morning at 5:30, I would go to the hospital, and one day they put her on a ventilator, and she was in the ICU, and it got to be about 6:30 on a Friday, and I had to be at my meeting at 7 on Sunday, and I was sitting in there holding her hand, and I said, hey, Mom, I got to go to my meeting, okay? I'll be back. The meeting's at 7 to 8. Laura, she smiled ear to ear and gave me thumbs up like this. It was the coolest thing.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah. I know you miss her. I know she was a big part of your life. Oh my gosh. I don't want to cry. I love it though. I love it because these are truly gifts and miracles in the program. It really is. What did you do last year to keep yourself sober during a pandemic, sir? How,
Yeah, so
oh,
I gotta tell you, last year was a
yeah,
tough year for everybody, you know.
yes,
As you know, in 2019, I moved down here to Florida,
yes.
and I made one of the cardinal sins of sobriety. So
Okay.
basically what I did, and it took me 10 years up north. And when I celebrated my 10th year anniversary here in Florida, it took that long in Connecticut to formulate all the relationships. And, because
Right.
I really have just one of those crazy, amazing lives, and when I came down here to Florida, I went to a couple of meetings. I had back surgery. I went back for a couple of more meetings. And so I went to a couple of meetings in 2020, and I said, you know what, maybe I could do this on my own. Maybe I could just do this on my own. And I could tell you firsthand, it's not the way to do it. I'm still as sick as the day I walked into St. Michael's on June 29th of 2009. With or without a drink, that same guy is here. My disease is out in my garage right now doing push-ups, just saying, come on, big boy, come on. You can have just one. Come on. So thank the Lord. I'm past that thought process of I could ever drink safely again. But those same isms all came back. So I would say 4 or 5 months ago, I tried a new group, and they're good folks. It's an early riser group, which I see them all the time. I have a new sponsor, so getting back on it. But it's not hard to be that person that I was from day one.
Isn't it crazy?
It's no different than the faith. So when I, chose in my 20s, 30s, and early 40s to not practice my faith or not live by my faith, it was no different. This crazy drunk driving the bus, whether he's drunk or not, it's a bad bus to be on.
Right. I went right back to basics. I had to go back to basics. And I tell you what, in the last year, meeting new people and doing this, Zoom or in person, not just people that are in AA, people that are doing the recovery thing, it's like just a combination of everything, and I got a fire lit back under my ass again. I'm just so excited about it again.
Me too. And I
So
like
crazy.
how you said, like, back to basics, like
Yeah.
same thing, no different than you. It's like,
Yeah.
we remember when we're around it, but
Yeah.
when we're not, it just goes away.
Yeah.
It just goes
Just
away. Listen, this stuff doesn't go away. It's about one day at a time. It's about doing your best, but the absolute surrender to the fact that I've got to get that daily reprieve that I need. My brain will never be all better without help,
Yes.
and I realize that today. We're so fallible, we're so imperfect. And I think that's probably the hardest thing for myself personally, is that, gosh, why can't I just get this, and it's not getting anything, it's
No.
practicing it daily.
Ray, you just helped somebody today by doing this with me.
Thank
Honestly,
you, Laura. Thank you.
honestly, it's been a pleasure, my dear.
Hey, Laura, as you hear every day from your friends, from your family members, it's a life in sobriety that I could not have hallucinated.
Wow.
It's really that good.
I know. Thank you so much,
Lord.
Ray. Thank you so much.
you.
Thanks for keep on trying.
Yeah, we got it. Good job. Hey, nice job. I watch all of your interviews.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's no better message out there than the message of sobriety. It's between you and I, it certainly has saved our lives.
Yes, it
Right?
has. Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you, my friend. I will talk to you soon.
Please.
Take care.